Hello everyone. In this chapter, we will see the type inference which is associated with the lambda expressions. Type inference means the mechanism used by the compiler to identify what is the type associated with a lambda expression. Let's go back to our previous example. In this example, here we can see that in our lambda expression we are not specifying any type. But if you see the variable definition, that means we have created a variable of type myOperator and we are assigning a lambda expression to that. In this case, the compiler will know that the exact type of the particular lambda expression. And I am going to write a new lambda expression without any types. In this case also, there is no problem here. Even though we haven't specified any of the types, there is no compilation error. How this is happening? The compiler will look to this particular method print operation and it can see that there is a myOperator class, or myOperator is the type of the particular print operation method. Okay, so here also there is no problem. Now let's go back to our interface. Here, if you see, we have the type t associated with the interface definition, and let's remove this, or let's copy this and move it into the method definition. Basically, we are changing the interface type and we are moving it into a method. When you see this, you will get compilation errors. We can remove this. Even though if you remove this, we are still getting a compilation error which says operator plus cannot be applied to t. Why we are getting this error? In case of Java, if you have a method which has type parameters associated with the method definition, then the lambda expression will not support. This is to support the backward compatible code in previous releases of Java. Okay, now I will put it back as before. Now here also I'll add the type. Now I am going to create a new interface which is of type I already have created it. Its name is myOperator2 and it has the same method signature, or the method name is different but the signature is same. It has two t parameters, and here also we have the type t associated with myOperator2. And in our test program, I'm going to write another method which is same as print operation, and I am changing this into myOperator2, and the method name is different. But we are getting a compilation error here. Actually, in two places we are getting compilation errors. Here, if you see this, it says operator minus cannot be applied to lambda parameter, lambda parameter. But if you remember, in the previous case we had only one print operation, and at that time the compiler was able to reduce the type as myOperator. But in this case, it cannot deduce whether it's myOperator or myOperator2. So in that case, there is no type is deduced. It cannot apply the minus operator here. So that is why this compilation error happens, and it doesn't actually know what is the type. So to fix that error, what we can do is we will add the types here. Now one error has gone, but we have still one more error which says there is a method ambiguity. That means even though we have given both as integers, we still have to resolve this print operation method, because from this definition it cannot identify whether it is a my operator or my operator 2, because the method signature is the same. It has two integer parameters and it will return an integer. In this case, what we can do? In this case, we can only go back to our previous example with which we are creating a type. We are basically creating a variable and assigning it into that. Similarly, we have to create it here. Instead of addition, we can use subtraction, and we'll change it to this. Now can add it here, subtraction. Okay. Yes. Now all the errors are gone. And if in any of the case, if your lambda expression is not able to resolve its type, then you have to use like this by assigning it into a variable. But in most of the cases where there is no conflict, you can directly have the lambda expression. Now moving on, suppose in my operator I have the return type is different. I'm going to make it as a void. Okay, in that case here there is an error because we cannot basically print it. I'll remove the system out and I'll just call the perform2. Yeah, and this name I can change because it doesn't make sense to call it as a print because there is no return type. So I'll just rename it to perform operation. Okay. Now I am going to remove this as this is not needed now. Now similar to our previous example, I am going to call it perform operation. I have first comma second. I'm going to write first minus second. Here there is no compilation error. Yeah, we don't need this bracket here. Yes, so there is no compilation error because by looking at this expression, the compiler can identify that this is going to return an integer, and in that case it will always identify this as my operator, because my operator has a method which is returning an integer. Now if I change this to empty braces, that means it doesn't return anything, or the return type is void, or else we can have just a return statement. In both are same. In this case the compiler will decide that this is returning a void, and the void return type corresponds to the lambda expression for my operator 2. Okay, so this is the main difference. If the compiler can decide whether the lambda body is returning void or any other type, in that case it will be able to resolve its lambda corresponding lambda interface. But let's modify this perform operation a little bit. I'm going to add condition if first equal to second. I'm just returning, else return first minus second. If you see here, it says operator equal to cannot be applied to lambda parameter comma lambda parameter, and here also operator cannot be applied to lambda parameter. So why we are getting this error? That is because the compiler is not able to identify the actual type of the lambda expression, because we are getting two different types of return statement. One is of a void and second is of a type which it's still not able to identify, because it still doesn't know that whether it is an integer or any other types, because we have two different types of return statements. So in this case also there will be a conflict to for the compiler. In such scenarios, it is better we can create our similar variable types as my operator integer, and let's change it into this. Maybe subtraction. Now we have got only one error which says missing return value. That means the compiler is able to identify the actual return type or actual type of the lambda expression. That means it is the method will return an integer. But since we have a return statement for a void, it is giving a compilation error. So this means this is perfectly identifying its type. Okay. Okay, by this I am going to finish this chapter on type inference. Thank you.